Cool. All right, hello and welcome to another Toast the Toss episode. Again, don't ask us the numbers because I think numbers don't matter. But today, what we're going to talk about is Ashes preview. India did not win the WTC cycle. We have forgotten, and now we are looking for new heroes, new champions, which also brings me to new fanelists. So we have Tejas, who's been our existing fanalist for a long time. We've got two new fanalists, one Sanskar Gupta and the other one Sai. And I hope Sanskar Gupta's insights are filled with Sanskar. Uh, and of course, like we said last time, we have international participants in Swagath S. So let's get started, gentlemen. All right. So is let's talk about the now that the excitement has died from the WTC final. Ashes is the next exciting destination for cricket lovers. So let's start with the English team, right? Bazball, the buzz around Bazball. Who do you think would be the key performers for the Poms?
Uh, Definitely Joe Root at first because I mean England being the hosts, you would expect your best batsman to deliver at the most important occasion in your cricketing fraternity. So definitely Joe Root. Adding to that, I'll pin my hopes on Johnny Bairstow definitely because he's coming off an injury he's been kept out for 9 months. He did play that odd test against Ireland, looked good as ever, but it will still be a far more potent bowling lineup in the form of Australia. So I'll be interested to see how he's going to deliver after a long gap from cricket. Mm, I'll also be interested to see how Anderson and Broad deliver this time around. With their age, there's always going to be a question mark about how long are they going to play, how long are they not. No matter what comes into the picture, their fitness or whatnot, but it is always going to be a question mark. Does the English Cricket Board find them reliable at this point in time, or will they look ahead into the future? So I think this will be a key series in that aspect. So off my mind, these are the four names I can think of at present.
Perfect. Thank God Chetan Sharma is not the selector of English cricket team. Otherwise, it would be like, how do you think Anderson's playing? Drugs. Everybody takes drugs. Anyways.
There is
Well,
sofa. He's lying on my sofa. Yeah,
yeah.
he
And
comes
thank God
every
no
afternoon.
MSK Prasad. Otherwise, we would have to see 4D, 3D, 4D kind of players. So,
Yeah.
yep.
So for
Yeah,
me,
but
right?
Anderson would be the
Yeah.
4D, 4 decades. Right?
Yes.
Yep.
So I was also thinking Joe Root by default becomes the most important batter for. But what's interesting for me is Ben Stokes, right? New captain for an Ashes series, has a new philosophy entirely coming in. And I was reading about Bazball of late, and it's not about scoring fast, right? What Stokes is trying to do is make everyone play like an adult. Pre-Stokes era was basically people being handheld by the backroom staff, being treated
Hmm.
like they are in a military dorm with complete discipline. And Stokes has just removed it. There was a story I read where Bairstow always likes to eat a bacon sandwich, and that was completely cut off for fitness reasons. And McCullum and Stokes were like, you can eat your bacon sandwich, but score well, take good decisions on the field, then you get it. So I love that kind of a culture brewing within English cricket, which is always known for being quite rigid in its structure. So I want to see how Stokes does it and what would be the plan B. They have never
Hmm.
faced a difficulty in their life yet
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Bazball, right? Plan A has
Yep.
always worked with most of the teams.
Yep.
What would be the plan B? Especially when the bowling is very one dimensional.
Hmm.
All three have the same pace. You don't have an enforcer. You don't have
Yeah.
someone who is going to like really blow the batter off if the pitch is flat. So what are they going to do? And they are not young people. Stokes and I'm sorry, Broad and Anderson, they are almost nearing the end of their careers, and it's a five-match series. I'm really going to see how they are going to like survive with the same unidimensional pacers that they have. So most interesting how Stokes is going to handle it, and how are the bowlers going to survive a 5 days.
Just a thought there, right? So they have Stokes, sorry, they have Broad Anderson. Then they have this new guy called Josh Tongue. Hoping that he gets tongues wagging, unintended. But yeah. And who else are the bowlers?
They have Mark
Ollie
Wood.
Robinson.
They have Mark
Yeah.
Wood and Ollie Robinson, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but Mark Wood is not playing this one. That's to add on to what Sai said about the one-dimensional attack. So the bowlers that they have in the lineup now, depend a lot on movement off the pitch. No bounce or nothing to enforce. They cannot surprise you with a snorter like Mark Wood can do. But if you're playing Anderson and Broad together, Mark Wood has to sit out. So that's if it can backfire if Australia bat first and they just pile up the runs. Yeah, that's
Not
something.
to mention, it's English summer at its peak. I mean, yes, you have your Duke ball, which seems and moves every odd day, but summer will play an important role in like completely baking that pitch up, playing strokes, and and because to adhere to their new concept of Bazball, I think they will make batting friendly pitches. So I'm really interested to see from both the English perspective and the Australian perspective how the bowlers are gonna fare in this series.
That's
Australia, of
exactly the
course,
thing,
did
right?
well. Australia, of course, did well against India. A rather undercooked and, dare I say, underconfident Indian batting. We are, and now they're gonna face a completely confident and completely fearless English batting. So it's going to be a great contest between bat and ball. That's for sure. That's assured. Yep. Really looking forward to it. And I think this series is going to set the tone of the entire WTC and the fate of both these teams. Because, mind you, England England had a decent first cycle of WTC. Second one was very contrasting in the way they did the first half, completely under Joe Root's captaincy, very passive in their approach, very underconfident. But then came second half with a completely new management, completely ferocious, completely fearless. So now that they're gonna get tested against the likes of Australia at their own house, and once they eventually come to India next year, it's gonna be a huge uphill task this time. It's not gonna be easy at all. Likewise for Australia as well, facing England, of course, and then they'll be facing India at their home, which is much later, I guess, probably towards the end of WTC. So for them to strong, lay a strong foundation for this entire WTC cycle, it's very important that both these teams have a good start to their WTC campaign and their prospects to play the final.
I know that's what I'm thinking. That's why I'll bring Tejas in. With the one-dimensional attack. I don't know if they've announced the test team. I've been busy working on it, but have they?
They have, yeah.
They have.
So it's it's Broad, it's Anderson. Who else?
Ollie Robinson.
And
Ollie
and Moeen Ali.
Robinson.
Okay. But what about comeback man Moeen Ali?
Yeah, he's there. He's the
Yes, he's there in the team.
He's
So-
there in the team.
Moeen
I half
Afridi, rather.
I half suspect Stokes to come tomorrow and tell Moeen is not in the team and just throw a bouncer on Australia probably. But that's just my mind.
But that's a point, right? They don't have anybody else. They had to get Moeen Ali out of retirement because of Jack Leach.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But
I
Tejas,
mean,
any
I
thoughts on
think
that?
to adhere to their Bazball, I just think Moeen Ali might just be a key player in that aspect because he can provide you runs with the bat. He can take wickets with the ball. Not to forget, Australia has potent left-arm batsmen. So I think it will be an interesting decision for Stokes to make whether to go with Jack Leach or Moeen Ali.
They
Jack
can't
Leach
do
is out.
Jack Leach.
Jack Leach is injured. He's a withdrawn player from the squad.
Oh, okay. My
They
bad. I didn't
can't.
know that. I
So,
didn't know that.
which is why I want to get Tejas' inputs on. Do you really think Moeen Ali and Joe Root together can really give a spin threat to the Aussies?
Not Moeen Ali for sure, because we've seen him bowl against Australia before, and he has not played red ball cricket for a while. Not him for sure, but There is something about this England team, right? We can talk about key performers there. I would say all 11 are key performers because the kind of philosophy you don't really see anyone moving away from that philosophy because you've seen other teams that, for example, Australia, right? Warner plays pretty quickly, but Smith and Labuschagne, they hold the innings together, and everyone have their own philosophy in cricket. But England, from Zach Crawley to even the number 11, maybe it will be Anderson this time around. Everyone will follow one direction, just one philosophy, and that is to attack. So you might think that their bowling attack is one-dimensional, their philosophy, everyone knows about it. But when 11 players want to do the same thing, it becomes something special, and we've seen that. Ashes, different different scenario altogether. It's too much of a pressure, but I really heard someone, I think Joe Root was saying that if Alistair Cook was not, I mean, if he was still in the picture, he would not have been picked. He's the highest run scorer for England. He would not be picked. So this makes the team special. We can talk about the bowling attack, but I still feel the 11 players who will step onto the field tomorrow will be different to all the teams or all the 11s that have played Ashes till now. There'll be something special for sure.
So technically, England has what, 9 batsmen? It starts
8.
with Zach Crawley and ends at
Ends
Oli,
at Moeen.
right?
Oh, Oli, okay. I thought ends at Moeen Ali, right? 8. Ollie Robinson is not, that.
Robinson at 9, yeah. Robinson at
Okay,
9.
but
Stuart
8
Broad,
batsmen.
he has the 163. I mean, I know he is not the same batsman. He is at 10.
Yeah.
No, and
What
eight
has gone
batsmen,
after?
anybody can go on to get a century, a double century. What was it last time for against Ireland? Oli Pope got a double century and
Yeah.
Ben Duckett got a 170, 165 odd, right?
Yeah.
Ben Duckett.
So I'm just curious to know what would happen if England is about batting for 60 for 6 or 60 for 7. Do they still continue to attack? Have they been in that situation before and they've seen a counter attack? I don't know if
They
memory
I
serves
don't
me
think
right.
they
Yeah.
have.
That's exactly what I was telling, right? I've never seen a plan B.
Yeah.
They, mind you, they did have a collapse against New Zealand where New Zealand won that game by 1 run. I think they were well poised at 200 something for 4 or 5, if my memory serves me right. And then that top edge from Joe Root, and then they fell like pack of
Yeah.
cards. So I think
Yeah.
that's one thing they have to be really mindful about.
Mm.
Another thing to add in this aspect about England is their top order. It's still susceptible as ever. Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett, Oli Pope, all the 3 names, there's been a lot of debate about them. They blow hot, blow cold. It's been that kind of red ball careers for all the 3 of them. Having said that, they still kind of impose faith on Oli Pope to deliver eventually. But there's still debate between the two, between Zach Crawley and Duckett, especially Zach Crawley, because post that double century against Pakistan in the pandemic, there's been nothing solid or nothing concrete of, coming off his bat. So this series will be crucial for both these openers, more so for Zach Crawley, even though they've had complete faith from the likes of their captain Ben Stokes and McCullum. It'll be an interesting one to see from English batting's perspective.
So now just moving on to the next one, right? Now for Australia, again, key performers. All the 4?
So Australia is like completely covered on all ends for me. Whatever England tries flat wicket, they have Steve Smith. Streaming wickets, they have a beautiful pace attack. I love their pace attack. But for me, the most important over here is Steve Smith's form and Labuschagne's form. If they play properly, they'll just bat England out. And to actually reduce the effect of Labuschagne and Steve Smith, you have to have a green pitch, and then that beautiful pace attack comes in. So for me, it is how well Steve Smith and Labuschagne are going to score runs will define Australia's success. The bowling is anyway otherworldly.
No, not so much Travis Head, because I thought Travis Head was the Bazball player.
He was the best one. I don't think even Travis Head will get a chance to bat after the third.
I actually wanted to take Travis Head's name, but I think though it came very late in the WTC final, the one thing that India did well against Travis Head was those short balls. He
Mm.
kept struggling against those. They utilized that very late. Once it was settled, that's a separate debate for another day. But I think that did a great favor for the English bowlers. They exposed Travis Head. So, I want to make this point very early into the podcast. The difference between Australia and England, the swinging balance, would be between these two players. How Johnny Bairstow performs for England and how Travis Head performs for Australia. Both very similar, very dynamic in their approach, fearless, completely ferocious in the way they go about their batting. How their series pans out for their respective teams is gonna decide the fate of these two teams in this series. That's my personal opinion.
That's interesting because I'm just thinking Harry Brook, right? I mean, I know Harry Brook got picked up for IPL, did not have a stellar IPL, but I thought in some of the preceding tests, I thought there were times when he just came and completely changed the complexion of the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, hands down, you guys are saying Australia has a much better bowling attack.
Uh,
No?
not, I mean, if you go with Pat Cummins, of course, world class as ever. Scott Boland, perhaps their best
Trump
bowler
card.
in the last few games. But the third seamer, right? If you are going with Mitchell Stark, and we saw how he bowled against India, he is not as convincing as the name might suggest. I would say that if Hazelwood is fit, you can have Hazelwood ahead of Mitchell Stark, as controversial as it might sound. Then the attack looks a little better because pace on the ball without any swing is the thing that the English batters will be looking for, and Mitchell Stark is the right candidate. Bowls at 145 plus, ball comes nicely to the bat. uh, he can be that the key ignition point for England and their brand of cricket. We are talking about world class bowlers. Mitchell Stark is of course a legend, but if Australia plays Mitchell Stark, then I think they'll be playing right into England's hand.
But but Mitchell Stark is the only left armer, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
you can go with that, but you need to be really careful of these English batsmen. I know the numbers really don't flatter anyone, especially the top three. Crawley, Duckett for two, and Wood Pope as well, right? But they just need an ignition point, and I think Mitchell Stark is the one that they'll target.
I have a slightly altered point of view with the Australian bowling attack here. I think Pat Cummins, of course, being the captain, will be a certainty. The debate about Stark, Hazelwood, and Boland, I feel, from what I know, I think Australia is going to go with the three premium pacers, which is Stark, Hazelwood, and Pat Cummins. One thing noteworthy here is even Hazelwood hasn't played a lot of cricket in the last 6 months. He did have a few outings for RCB in IPL, which weren't great. He was a complete shadow of what he was for RCB in the last IPL. So, and now having missed WTC final for reasons best known to them, it will be interesting to see if Hazelwood can get his mojo back. Because if he does, I think they're going to stick to the same three. But if he doesn't, then I will not be surprised if Australia just entertain the option of Boland over Hazelwood.
Is he named in the 11 or Australia haven't named the 11? Tomorrow is the
They
first.
haven't named her. Australia hasn't named their 11.
Hasn't
Now
named the 11.
they might wait till the end of the day. But just on their so they don't have any other option, right? Other than these five. Michael Nesser is there in the squad.
He's there in
They're
the squad.
forgetting
He's
their
there in the
most
squad.
important bowler, according to me, although it's England, Ethan Lyon.
Yeah.
He'll be a difference maker.
Yeah.
Day 4, day 5 flat pitches open up. Someone mentioned the England summer. Edgbaston is going to support Lyon on day 3, day 4, starting day 3, day 4, and that's going to be very interesting. He's a champ, right? He's a champ.
I really
Loves.
hope that's not the case because Rohit Sharma will be trolled even more for not picking Ashwin in the WTC final.
I know that's
Yes.
where I was going to go to, right? If Nathan Lyon gets injured during these Ashes, I'm pretty sure Australia are going to call up Ashwin and say, "We'll give you citizenship right away. Just get to England, play for us. You'll never get picked by your team in England." But anyway, just coming back, yeah, Lyon is a legend. But Warner is this again? I know he did something. He's still on the balance, but doesn't perform in the first two tests. You think he'll be booted out?
Yeah,
I think Pat Cummins is supporting him a lot because he just came out with a statement earlier in the day today. Yes. We are going to see a different Warner altogether. Hopefully not the one on the bench, but then want to see what's that new
In
Warner
all
that we are going to see.
fairness though, Warner did show signs of improvement in his game against India. Yeah, Umesh Yadav's 16 run over did help his cause a little bit, but I saw a slightly calm and composed Warner in the final, though his second innings didn't pan out the way it wanted to, of course. So I am expecting better from Warner than whatever he has had in the past. Because if he doesn't deliver, there were talks about him retiring after the Pakistan series, Sydney being his last game. The question Australia needs to ask themselves is, if not Warner, then who? And second, if for whatever reason Warner fails to deliver here, are they willing to hurt their chances, hurt their uh, prospect of WTC final till Warner decides to retire till that Pakistan test in Sydney? That's one thing they need to ask.
I think Australia is much more ruthless. I don't think they care about if he doesn't perform. I think they won't have second thoughts on getting head to the top and then probably putting somebody else in the middle order. That's what I think.
But that's where the problem lies. Then who? I mean, they can go for Matt Renshaw, but Matt Renshaw has not been convincing at all.
I think they'll probably get head to the top.
no, Marcus Harris has been earmarked.
Marcus Harris, yeah.
Okay, Marcus Harris, yes. When he made his debut for India, his Sheffield Shield numbers were staggering, but that was in 2018. This is 2023, so I'm not sure how good a batsman he is.
No, he's been scoring runs in Sheffield even now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Okay, so we're while the action heats up, right? While our anticipation, I can't wait till tomorrow 3 p.m. India time or 1:30 p.m. whenever the thing starts. But we're almost at the end of the show. What I want to get before we end is predictions, right? Each one of you, what do you think would be the final scoreline, and in whose favor?
I would say 3-1 Australia and one test to rain because it's in England. So it'll be 3-1 Australia.
3-1 Australia, Sai, Swagath.
3-2 Australia.
3-2 Australia, Swagath, Sanskar.
Okay, I'll give a slight, I'll give one last perspective and then tell my predictions. Bazball, a hit concept, will come under test for England this time around. If there's one other team which is capable of playing that brand of cricket, in my opinion, that's Australia. So it will be interesting to see how it pans out. But having said that, England, desperate to win an Ashes, they were denied one in 2019 and 2022. They couldn't do anything because they were playing in Australia. They were bound to lose. So I think 3-2 in favor of England.
Okay, Tejas.
I'll go with 2-2. It'll be the same as last time around. Too close to call. Both have talented players. And as I said, one game definitely for rain. It'll be 2-2.
If it ends 2-2, who retains the Ashes? Both?
Australia.
Australia, they are, yeah.
Because they are the defending champions. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah. Then I might want to just call it a 3-2. I was thinking 3-2-2, but then I really want Bazball to prosper just for Bazball to really revolutionize Test cricket. It's fun watching Test games now, right? Rather than because you never know what the score is going to be. What did England rake up in that first day in Pakistan? 400?
500 and something.
Yeah. You never know, right? So 500. Yeah, and just for that brand of cricket, just for somebody really, and I'm sure it'll fail at some point, and I don't think they care when it fails. I think
I want to see how that works in the rank turners in India because I'm sure India to help their prospect. They won't see that their batsmen are scoring low at homes and, eventually affecting their prospect in away games. I think for that particular series, India is going to put rank turners. So I'm interested to see how England Bazball brand fares in the Indian rank turners.
They'll do the same thing, because even without their batters going all guns, they're still getting bundled out early. So they'll still do that, like make the most while they are there.
Right.
The middle.
In India had the worst of that strategy in 2011, 2012. When did KP and Cook kind of come back and kill us in Monty?
Yeah.
Kolkata
2012.
Test.
2012. Yeah.
And KP can't stop talking about that.
I know.
Just can't stop.
I don't think he should stop. It is one of the
one of the spin playing masterclasses. Yes.
KP, Cook, and then 2017 Pune Test Steve Smith. I think these three were one of the best knocks played by foreigners in Indian soil, in my humble opinion.
I agree. All right, gentlemen, that's almost the end of the show. Thank you again for being a part of it. If any of the scores, and we will obviously call and blow our own trumpet, if any of the scorelines we predicted actually happens, we called it first on Toss the Toss. We will be back to discuss more about the Ashes. Till then, thanks everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye guys. Bye.
Bye.